We've been told that being our own boss is the ultimate freedom. We track our steps, optimize our sleep, and treat our lives like a project to be perfected. What if your drive to be productive isn't freedom at all, but the most efficient form of slavery ever invented? This chilling argument of psychopolitics and neoliberalism and the new technologies of power by Han argues that we have moved from a world of Big Brother watching us to a world where we willingly digitize our souls for likes and rewards. I've broken down Han's critique of modern life into 3 takeaways that will change how you look at your phone, career, and identity. If you feel like you're constantly running a race with no finish line, this video will explain why. Let's dive into the project trap. Hey guys, if you're new here, I'm AB. On this channel we read a book every week on the topics of psychology, philosophy, and self-improvement. As someone who struggled with reading and writing all my life, later only to find out that I had dyslexia, so I know how hard it is to get through a book. So if you're like me or just don't have the time, I'm here to give you the top takeaways and learnings from each book we cover. The project trap. In the modern world, we no longer see ourselves as people who simply follow rules. Instead, we treat our entire lives as a project that must be improved, optimized. Hans noted that today we do not deem ourselves subjugated subjects, but rather projects always refashioning and reinventing ourselves. Han mentioned that while this feels like optimization, it is actually a trap. By viewing ourselves as a project, we never feel finished or good enough, creating an efficient form of control. We try to optimize our sleep, our focus, fitness, as if we are upgrading a machine. We are both the master and the slave. We are the boss who demands more and the tired worker who has to deliver. We subconsciously trick ourselves to exhaustion just to reach a goal of being better. Self-optimization, it turns out, amounts to self-exploitation. This is often disguised as fun through a gamification of our lives. Apps use likes, rewards, and levels to make our habits feel like a game, tricking us into exploitation. We are no longer working just to satisfy our basic needs like food, shelter. Instead, we are working to satisfy the needs of the economy. We internalize the desire for the latest phone or the newest car, mistakenly believing these goals are our own when they are actually just what the market wants us to want. We stop being human and become data, trapped in an endless loop of working and consuming. As Han warns, now people are treated and traded as packages of data for economic use. That is, human beings have become a commodity. The invisible prison. Han talks about how the nature of control has shifted from the forced surveillance of Big Brother to the voluntary exposure of apps. We willingly post our thoughts and locations, acting as both the prisoner and the guard. Han describes this shift by noting that digital Big Brother outsources operations to inmates, as it were. Accordingly, data is not surrendered under duress so much as offered out of an inner need. This constant self-tracking transforms our private lives into a series of data points, turning things like our heart rate and daily steps into numbers for others to use. This dataism breaks down the human experience down into statistics, stripping away the meaning of our lives into a digital profile. As a result, confession obtained by force has been replaced by voluntary disclosure. This system creates a powerful compulsion to conform, where we use digital networks to prove we belong. We often share opinions or post photos not because we truly care about the cause, but because we are hungry for likes and social gratification. All whilst debt has become a modern version of sin, a weight that dictates our choices and keeps us from ever being truly free. Han explains that excessive consumption amounts to unfreedom, compulsion corresponding to the unfreedom of labor. We believe we are participating in a global economy, but we are often just managing our own cages, trading our freedom for the temporary high of a notification or new item. New capitalism. The modern economy has evolved into a system where we are no longer workers, but packages of data to be traded. Businesses have merged into a single force that monitors our digital habit, how we think, move, and live. Our very soul has been turned into a commodity. Capitalism has shifted its focus from the physical world of factories to the mental world of the mind. It no longer needs to break your body with hard labor. Instead, it seeks to optimize your brain and your feelings. As Han observes, the body no longer represents a central force of production. Now productivity is no longer to be enhanced by overcoming physical resistance so much as by optimizing psyche or mental processes. To keep us consuming, this system uses emotional design to bypass our logic. Products are no longer sold for their use value or what they actually do, but for their emotional value or how they make us feel. Han explains that consumer capitalism operates through the selling of consumption of meanings and emotions. It is not use value, but emotional or cultic value that plays a constitutive role in the economy of consumption. This leads to a strange paradox where the system actually encourages us to be free and to be ourselves. However, this freedom is only encouraged so that our choices can be turned towards the market. We often fail to see that we are working for a system rather than ourselves, according to Han. We no longer work in order to satisfy our own needs. Instead, we work for capital. Capital generates needs of its own. Mistakenly, we perceive those needs as if they belong to us. In this new era, capitalism doesn't want to silence us. It wants us to speak and share as much as possible so it can turn our freedom into profit. Psychopolitics is a dense, provocative read that really forces you to look at your smartphone. His book resonated with me. Now, I didn't agree with everything that Han said in his book. I did find it a book I couldn't put down though. If you're interested in modern philosophy around or on the digital age, I would highly recommend picking this book up and having it a read. Definitely a 9 out of 10 for me. Now the next question is, how do you fight back? How do you build habits that serve you instead of the market? To answer that, you need to understand how your brain forms behaviors. I've done a breakdown of James Clear's Atomic Habits right here. While Han's philosophy showed you the invisible prison of the modern world, James Clear gives you the blueprint to break out of it and design a life on your own terms. Check that video out next, and I'll see you over there.